What's good with the YouTube family, man? Thank you for watching another episode of I Smoke Hip Hop Live. Love your family, love your kids. Stay blessed, man. We got some news with this Kenan Thompson situations, man. He's been wilding out and doing unacceptable things as far as being part of the community, if he was part of the community. But Kenan Thompson, man, he's going to speculate on certain things regarding uh, um a video he did, controversial video that was regarding the funky monkey situation, and he speaks on that, and he really goes at black Americans. He talks towards this situation here, and some of the things he brought up was like, you know what I mean? They're controversial things that we're not informed with, we're not ready for. And before I get started and show all the receipts of all these things and his spectacle, let's just start with the intro, man. So back to Kenan Thomas and the fact that he brought these things up and put the blame towards melanated folks. I mean, he had a lot of setbacks of people asking and inquiring things such as lack of diversity amongst where he works, and he could have done it regular, but instead he did the opposite. Let's get to that, man. Kenan Thomas would respond to the things they were bringing up as far as the mockery he was making. So it says Kenan Thomas and Bowen Yang have had very different Saturday Night Live trajectories, and yet they both have made history. Thompson, who joined the show in 2003, is the longest tenured cast member in the show's history. When Yang joined, first as a writer in 2018, then moving to the cast the following year, he became the first Chinese American SNL player. So they indulge deeper into these things as far as the article. Now, Kenan said while the comedians don't feel pressure to represent their communities, Thompson notes that one sketch raised eyebrows, which was this, the Funky Monkey situation in 2003. He portrayed it, and it was a Mario inspired character. I mean, we can look at it like that, but a lot of these characters that they claim is from this or from that, they're actually written into the scripts and clearly with the said so agenda to make you look like that. Let's not kid ourselves, Keenan, as this was just a spontaneous thing for humor. It seems that certain things they've been making brothers do on syndicated television for decades upon decades, it's the same sketch. It doesn't switch up. It's either that or dressing like a woman. And it seems these things always come out and about during June. And we know what month is June, but we're not going to get into that. So he got into the article more and says when you get into the world and the world sees a black man in a monkey costume and it starts to go to that conversation, which is the furthest thing from all our minds, he says, it's not that we shun it, it's that it's not a real thing. At some point there was probably a moment where our people were looked at like that or whatever. Notice he said the or whatever part. Just pay attention to that. The rest of this video is going to make sense to that whatever part. But he says, I don't deny those things, which it's like he is denying it now. He says, because I'm aware of it. I look at Planet of the Apes, which is a weird analogy to make, but nonetheless, let's continue. He says, I look at Planet of the Apes sideways, so I get it. But when do we advance? When do we leave that in the past and just allow ourselves just as free thinking minds? Like, how do you equate a free thinking mind to something that's visibly and without a doubt is either contrasting other groups of people in the society as this monkey stereotype or whatever, a lower self of being, basically, aka quote unquote savages, and yet to downplay it into this conundrum of philosophy that you just regurgitated from probably somebody else at SNL as a form of free thinking. The fact that you're creating the same outdated excuses for this same sketch keep getting done, it lets me know you don't have a free thinking mind. But I'll continue with the rest of the receipts. Now, He had more situations than that people don't even bring upon. Like, I'm confused. Let's just get in deep. I got more receipts, but let's talk about it. Let's not fast forward it. We welcome this. Like, I'm just confused by his statements. He initially said that he's on SNL representing us, meaning black Americans, black melanated people, but then he proceeds to dismiss black people concerns about seeing a black man on TV wearing a monkey costume. Like, it's not adding up at this point. It's like, are you the PR team for SNL or every other people who put that stigma and stereotype out there? Why do you need to be the spokesperson in defense of this so-called sketch? Like, I haven't really paid attention to Kenan anymore since he made mockery of melanated women when he was pointing out that there's not a lot of females on SNL because they lack talent, and it's not a lot of them, such as Leslie at the time before she got there. And that was the only reason they put Leslie Jones there. Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's get to that article here. Like, here's it. It says, when Saturday Night Live announced this season six new cast, this was 2013, by the way, y'all. Season six new cast members. Many were shocked to see that sketch comedy show would be devoid of a black female cast member for the sixth year in a row. In a world where we have a black first lady and pop culture is defined by Scandal, Rihanna, Oprah, Nicki Minaj, and Beyonce. This. So what they're basically saying is, during that time in 2013, it was weird not to see a melanated female on the cast, being that so many melanated females were either going viral or in prominent positions or even in the acting prowls of one Kerry Washington and the hit series Scandal, which was everywhere. We cannot deny this. So yet they do sketches on everybody else, but they were kind of diverting attention away from the sisters, which I'm not mad at them because I don't think SNL is funny anyways. They haven't been anything as what Mad TV was, in my personal opinion. I grew up watching Mad TV, but let me show you what Kenan Thompson said, because he's the spokesperson in defense of this type of buffoonery that goes on. So when asked what the show would do now when confronted with potential black female characters or celebrity spoofs, Thompson told TVGuide.com, "I don't know. We just haven't done them. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Jay Farrell would do it or something, but even he doesn't really want to do it. Therefore, if you don't get what he's saying, is Jay Farrell agrees with him and he doesn't feel like working on potentially bringing in more dominated female characters or females of color, basically. But let's keep going and indulge in more. He said basically like this: instead of Kenan blaming Lauren Michaels, the creator of SNL, for the lack of diversity that time for black female characters, he said it like this: I blame the lack of quality black females. I mean, lack of quality black female comedians, meaning that I blame the fact that there aren't great funny comedian black females. There's nothing to go around that. He says it's just a tough part of the business. Thompson says, like in auditions, they just never find ones that are ready. How is that not disrespectful? So out of all these melanated black females in the business, you're telling me they just haven't found one. That's why I told you they forced Leslie Jones on us. This was his excuse. Now, what happened? Instead of blaming the showrunners for the series, he blamed it on the lack of comedy. I mean, to say you can't find ones that are ready, it's brazy. So I'm going to turn up and tell you why this guy has been in the shell of himself. See, Kenan Thompson got married outside of, I guess, what you would call, what a phrase would be, interracial marriage, which I have no problem against that. But this woman is Elizabeth, whom he was married to, have hurt his heart the worst way, because she allegedly was in an affair with the one and only Chris Redd, a former cast member of SNL who would be fired after word got out he was sleeping with Kenan Thompson's wife. Now, she makes all type of excuses for this. She says she been knew Chris Redd before his SNL job, that is, which makes matters even worse, meaning that definitely intimate situations going on. Now, A lot of them denied the cheating parts, but it came right around the time Kenan was the one who filed for divorce, ladies and gentlemen. And let's keep going. Kenan's ex-wife, Christina Angeline and Chris Redd, have started a relationship. This was less than a month and a half after they got divorced, which Kenan is the one who filed for it. Most times when men like Young Jeezy and Kenan Thomas files for divorce, it's because an affair was going on. I don't care if men are trying to make an excuse for other men. When it's black women, you guys have all the excuses are in the world when it comes to that. When it's black women, you say black women don't do this to black men. I mean, you say black women are the only ones who do that, but white women don't do it. But when white women do it, you find a way in defense of it. But it gets worse than that. These two dudes worked together and they were hilarious to me, but TMZ was catching a lot of moments of them together. Now, Chris Redd, if you guys don't want to believe it, he would then confirm this did happen over that with only few words. This is what Chris Redd would confirm it with when we caught up with the receipts. Chris said, "So what did y'all do tonight?" This was moments after seeing he's not being picked up for the show and his contract was never up and they just didn't have him there anymore. No, he got fired because you were sleeping with your co-host wife, whatever she says about it. And Kenan Thomas, the one who downgrades black women, it's so easy for him to do that, yet your wife played you in front of the world and the only word you had to say was that you two are doing good. Like this, like, to say no hard feelings, who says this? And it was hard feelings, but you're passive aggressive. You got that man fired. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not mad at you for that, but we don't need to know proof about cheating when we can see the proof in the pudding. Like, no man and woman in this sphere would argue with me on that. Like, look at all these receipts that have been shown them engaged with one another. This is them celebrating the birthdays, and this is even before the lawsuit. Not I said lawsuit, but before the situation of divorce was even on the table at that time. Like, what more do you guys want to be said about this, man? Your kids has to be around this, but yet the only words you had reserved for this little affair of theirs was that no hard feelings. You got to look at the people and the characters of these gentlemen out here who go out their way to step in fetching and tap dance. I mean, blaming it's just weird, man. Like, to say black women's are the reasons that they haven't been fired, hired at that time because they're not funny, is disingenuous. I've met a lot of funny female comedians in the last 30 years, so it's like, where are you going with this angle? Like, blaming the problem on the absence of talented black females only perpetuates the problem that we keep seeing by all that certain community. Like, there are countless brilliant black comedians working right now, men and women. So it's just now many of the whom would likely be thrilled to take part in such an iconic series. I digress from that because it's not iconic to me. Like, a lot of them, I doubt it, would jump on the opportunity that Leslie Jones jumped on. Many of them know that's not the route to go, to be a court jester in front of the world and put your integrity on these so-called writers who don't even know the culture you come from. I mean, but like I said, Mad TV was better to me because SNL doesn't represent black people anyways. They haven't been funny for decades, man. All the sketches are corny and poorly thought out. They're taking writers who just graduated to write these BS. Like, come on, man. Like, that kind of brain dead response is exactly why POC don't watch that mess. You know what I mean? These kind of programs are basically for racist liberals to have fun with. Like, South Park, anything with Seth MacFarlane that he makes, bro. You can keep going. Like, maybe you think I'm sensitive, but I think the average human being don't really continuously find a Donkey Kong monkey antics funny. It's just weird at this point. Like, I didn't find the way he basically found a way to unleash them from the way they use Leslie Jones and portrayed her in their own light of funny. Like, I don't find all those "this is how black folks feel" skits either funny, bro. Like, I mean, this is all basically just white racist humor in a nutshell. You know what I mean? At the expense of people of color and for the educational purpose, LGBT groups. Both of these men are making a check off of that. Let me put their picture back in the frame of things so you can know which dude as well. Both of these gentlemen's over here. It's like, at what point do you just look at it? I mean, it's easy to shame your own communities for not supporting this, Kenan, but like, what communities would support buffoonery towards a group of people? Because that's what you claim you're representing. I don't see you representing us, but if this is what you are representing, why not clean it up? Because you have no power over there, just like you had no power in controlling your marriage and your wife cheating on you allegedly. Now, so I'll make you guys understand this. He doesn't understand why black men wearing a monkey suit on a major network TV show that has been around 50 years is problematic. That furthermore lets you know on the mindsets of dudes like Kenan Thompson. So then these men get mad at me when I say I don't agree with everything Cynthia G says, but when she says black men don't protect black women, I wholeheartedly agree with that, bro. You see the Shannon Sharps of the world, the Gilbert Arenas, the Steven Jackson, and I mean Stephen A. Smith, Matt Barnes. We can keep going. It furthermore shows you what people are going through. I think, anyways, Kel was more hilarious to begin with. You feel me? Like, way more hilarious than him. I mean, he does realize that really successful comedians from SNL, they no longer stay on SNL after like a year or two, for the fact of the reason that he's been on SNL this long and he broke a record as the longest member ever on SNL. It's actually a deterrent towards your career, bro. It means a lot of people don't really want you. I seen you try to do a show, that failed. So it speaks volumes to who you are, man. And to blame these downfalls on the plight of lack of talent in us, we're the ones who they take everything from, whether it's funny, fashion, music, everything. And the lack of diversity there is because our black women lack the talent. Okay, copy check. We got you. Look, man, I'm out of here, man. I'm your guy, DJ Bless One, the best one. Look, man, my platform will speak about it. We got all these dudes going on the internet every day complaining about black women. I'd rather be the dude that you can call me a simp and all that. You're more of a simp than me. The dudes, all these dudes who got all these platforms talking down on black women, guess what? They're the ones getting black women pregnant. They're the ones who's going through all these ups and downs. They're the ones who are looking for the attention from black women. But it is what it is, man. We know what it is. We know where it comes from. I got black daughters that I gotta protect and look out for, and I protect the energy of our black essence and beautiful goddesses out here. Look, man, I'm DJ Bless One, the best one. Love your family, love your kids, and definitely with all eternity, stay blessed. Deuce.